You can predict with 90% certainty your salary when you become an adult, knowing your date of birth, your zip code, your skin color, and your gender. With those 4 pieces of information, you can make with 90% certainty a prediction of your average lifetime salary. Look at this. A child from an economically stressed family who at age 7 has a high cognitive performance, at 18 has a lower cognitive performance than a child from a more advantaged family who started with an average IQ. What does this mean? A child who is born with an above-average cognitive capacity, but who has a life with poor material conditions, by the age of 18 already has less cognitive capacity than a child who was born with an average IQ, but had good material conditions, and in the medium term surpassed the other child. What is this? The myth of meritocracy versus the privileges of structural conditions. Why? Because beyond those natural conditions with which you are born, which some are supposedly born with, right? Some are born super gifted with incredible characteristics that justify the fact that they are rich and so on. No, it's really the structural conditions that do. That is, a person who is born with a potential, but has the necessary conditions, develops the potential, and a person who is born with the potential, but has inadequate conditions, loses his potential. If you are born with a high IQ performance, but you have bad material conditions, your intellectual capacity decreases with time. And if you are born with a low IQ, but have good material conditions, your cognitive capacity goes up. This would be argument enough to say the most important thing then is not the investment in education, it is the investment in the material conditions of the students. Because beyond what you are teaching them or not, in order for them to develop their cognitive capacities, they need to have family stability, good food, health, well-being, security, to feel full, worthy, respected, loved, and wanted, before simply, he was born smarter than the others, he has superior genes. Here is practically explained how the whole myth of meritocracy works and how it is structured, and why also many times these meritocrats say, no, what is lacking is education. If people were smarter, it would be enough. Because intelligence is not something given a priori. Intelligence is something that develops in existence. As Marx said, it is not consciousness that determines our acting in the world, but our acting in the world that determines our consciousness. This is what is important about this type of analysis. We are constantly forced to think that the poor are poor because they want to be. You do not achieve the things you want in life because you have the wrong mentality, when it is completely the opposite. It is the material conditions in which you live that produce your mentality. It is not your mentality that determines your life, it is your life that determines your mentality. And this is, of course, completely the opposite of what a Shark Tank episode should be. In other words, what we should really be measuring in Shark Tank is not that these arrogant guys who are supposed to be subjects of economic knowledge, completely blind to their privileges and feel entitled to judge the ideas of others. What we should really do is to completely strip them of their structural privileges, to the point of painting their skin a different color and changing their gender, and leave them in the middle of nowhere to see if they can really reinvent themselves. And obviously we know all the answers that it's impossible. In other words, you take the richest person in Mexico, take away all his contacts, take away his cell phone, take away his last name, paint his skin a little 5 degrees darker, and make him a woman, and release him in the poorest neighborhood in Mexico. The chances of him getting out of poverty are practically zero, practically zero.